All right, guys, today we're talking about the Ae92 and the things that you definitely need to revitalize if you're just picking up one, if you have one in general and you haven't done any well-needed maintenance. Now, if you are just tuning in for the first time, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more cool Ae92 content just like this one. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the Ae92 itself is a very unique character. You never really see these, especially the coupes nowadays, especially in 2024. So you really want to take good care of them. Now, if you're first picking up one for the first time, what you generally want to do is revamp everything. Now, what I mean by that is this is a 1989 Toyota Corolla, guys. It is a car, pretty old car. You know, this is already old. This is what, 2000s, 2003? But this is 1989. It's been through it. The previous owners probably didn't give it a lot of love. And even if they did, 1989, when they did probably give it maintenance, it was probably 10 years ago, for all I know, you know? So the first things you really want to revamp is the suspension. These suspensions get so chewed up over the years, and you can't really blame them. Like I said, old car. So the first things that you generally want to do, and ignore my car because it's been sitting, because I need to do a rebuild on it, but you really want to do the suspension on the car. So you want to start with the struts. You want to do tie rod ends, inner tie rods and outer tie rods, and especially the inners, because the outers were probably changed, but the inner tie rods, guys, I believe it or not, a lot of people ignore this because, you know, it's one of the a little bit harder ones to do, but a lot of people ignore this. So you want to do the inner tie rods, outer tie rods, and then of course the struts, you know, and then the sway bar links as well. But those are the main things that you want to do when you're looking at suspension, especially in the rear of the car. And of course, I always say in all my videos, but it's to check and make sure that your Toyota Corolla is not rotted out. And like I said, it usually rots at the frame, it rots underneath the car, and especially rots in the rear. And you can always tell that it rots in the rear is because when this bumper sags, whenever this bumper sags, you know it's fucked. Look at how bad it is. See, that's the frame of the car. I mean, this bumper's supposed to hook into the rear frame of the car, and obviously that's not the case. So you always want to make sure you double check for rust. However, we already went over suspension, so going over those, generally the control arms don't go too bad on these, but you, like I said, you just always want to go over the suspension. Now, after suspension, the main things you want to do are your fluid. So you want to flush your fluid completely. So brake fluid, put completely new shit in there. Trust me, it'll feel way better. Make sure you put new coolant and new oil. Like I said, it's kind of no-brainers, but especially with new brake fluid, you want to do, because like I said, it's been in there for God knows how long, because the people before you probably did not take care of it, probably sat for a while. So you want to do that, but you definitely, and I mean definitely, want to change out the brake master cylinder, the clutch master cylinder if it's a GTS of some sort, and you definitely want to change out the gear oil if it has any gear oil. And that's, trust me, it'll liven up the car so much. It'll give you a lot more braking power. It'll give you a lot cleaner, smoother shifts. And especially when it comes to shifting, if you have a GTS, change out the shift linkages. Trust me, all these small details will liven up your Toyota Corolla by a huge amount. Trust me, it's always the little things that make it so good. Now, digging more into this, so if you have a GTS and SR5, let's talk about it. So GTS, now the 4AGE header manifolds are getting a little bit easier to find, a little bit. Why I say this is because now you can technically use 20 valve 4AGE headers on the 16 valve 4AG car. Now you know. Now, one of my buddies from Ae92 group, Facebook groups, told me about it, so I'm really hyped and I was glad to put out this information for you guys. So you can use 20 valve 4AGE's headers, the stock manifolds, on these 16 valves. So it's really cool. Another thing you could do is, I believe on Walmart, if you actually go on their page, they're selling OBX headers, the same exact headers that I have on this small port right-hand drive Ae92. Now, definitely check them out. They're pretty decently affordable, and I really just wanted to get that information out there so you guys can upgrade your GTSs, Ae92s, whatever it may be. Now, if we're talking about the SR5 Ae92, when it comes to headers, one thing that you could do is you could use 7AFE headers, and they will work with your SR5. However, you have to fabricate the holes of them a little tiny bit. You know, you got to drum out a little bit, but it's not a lot of work. Trust me. A lot of people have retrofitted these, and then you'll just use a different downpipe, which is like I said, by all means, really easy to do. I had it done on my brother's car, the go-to thing to do. If you do have SR5 and you have the carbureted model, I have a video on how to install Weber carburetors. I'll link it down below. However, that's really cool things that you could do. You want to keep it simple, keep it basic, upgrade the exhaust if you want, but you really want, I know it's fun to upgrade it, slam it, put exhaust, But the first things you really have to take care of are the maintenance. So always make sure you do your suspension first. Make sure you do your fluids first. Make sure you take care of this engine, and I trust me, it will take care of you. So please go ahead and do that. Also, the timing belts, always check them because they tend to crack or go old because it's old car. You know, they're rubber. It will dry rot. So always make sure you check your timing belts and everything. These are non-interference engines, so if you break the timing belt, it's not like it will bend a valve or something, but you never want to, you know, be driving and then you're broken down 200 miles away from your house. So always check the rubber on your timing belts, and the timing belts aren't too bad to do. If you have any questions, shoot me some on Instagram at Tuned for Speed or down in the comments below. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.